Mindy, we're here. We're back. It's been a minute now. And we don't look dressed for the right season right now. It's a little warm for what's going on here.
Yes. Well, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Spring break just ended, so it's even better, and it's fun. And now we're looking forward to what's next.
Yes. And being that we are dressed for cold temperatures in the hot climate of South Carolina,
yes.
Obviously, we are going to talk about one of our favorite destinations on the Royal Chat, which is, of course, Alaska. And we know in the agency we have quite a few of our clients that are sailing to Alaska. Zach and I have already done a chat on different itineraries and where to sail out of. But today we are going to focus on what, Zach?
We're going to talk about what to do when you get there. What do we do? Because there's so many options. It's such a gorgeous place. It's got something for everybody. Everybody thinks you got to be a naturey person or into that. Not at all. It's got something for everybody. So before we jump into that, yes, exactly. So before we jump into that, let's introduce ourselves for those that don't know by now. And if not, you need to go catch up because you're missing out. I'm Zach with Straightaway Travel.
And I'm Mindy with Straightaway Travel. And we are very excited to be here with you.
Yes, we're so excited to be your cruise directors, your navigators of all things royal and all the awesome locations that they have to offer. So let's just jump right into it because I'm excited. I loved Alaska. Alaska was gorgeous.
Well, I want to go back. Yeah. And look at our family fun pictures over here.
Our clan that we drug along with us.
Our clan that we drug. So I always love to explain pictures. So my family picture up at the top, FYI, was one of the excursions we did in Juneau, which we'll talk about. And that's my family. We did a canoe ride to Nugget Falls and Mendenhall Glacier, which we'll talk about. And it was fantastic. Zach, I know you did something cool over in your picture there. So what do you got going on over there?
Mine is my blended family, my in-laws and my mom and stepdad over there. We did ours in Ketchikan there. And we did a fun fishing excursion that I'll tell you all about when we get there because it was by far my hidden gem of the cruise. So
I heard those were great. I can't wait to hear all about it. And before we even continue, we decided to pick a couple of top Alaskan ports that most of the itineraries go to. So just to help you out, it's one more of the common ones. So just keep that in mind when we go. And there's tons, and obviously you can reach out to your Straightaway Travel advisor for more advice on other ports. And we're going to talk about the excursions that you can book through Royal, as well as our third-party suppliers we use. They're all great. It really just depends on what you want to do and when. So that you can't go wrong either way. So
absolutely. Like Mindy said, it's exactly. And the fun part about this too is these ports aren't like super far. So when you talk about Caribbean, sometimes you're going like distance from each other. So the fun part is like sometimes if let's say you can't do the helicopter in Juneau because there's something else you want to do, you can do it in Skagway or you can do it in Sitka, and it goes to similar places. Like you're kind of over not far from each other. So I know you did a lot with Royal, and we did ours almost exclusively third party. So there's something for everybody when we say that it is not a one size fits all kind of trip.
Right.
So let's start with our first exciting port here. Mindy, did you go to Sitka too?
I did. So Sitka was one of our first ports that we did. It was gorgeous. Love Sitka. It's really, really good for if you're that history buff person. A lot of wildlife, a lot of hiking is very popular here. So these pictures actually I took on our trip. We actually did a wildlife otter boat ride, so that was really cool. We saw some whales, but we like my family. We like to be on the water. We're not really the big hikers, not all of us. So that's what we did. But some top things that people do in Sitka is they love to visit the National Historical Park. And did you do that, Zach?
Yes, that's exactly where we went. We it ended up being a little bit of a rainy day for us, which Pacific Northwest, you got to expect that. So we threw on our rain gear and we went and toured the little city. And then we went out to the National Historic Park, and it was fun because it gave us a feel of all things Alaska. So for those of you guys that don't know, it is a national park, if you want to call it that. And you have a national center there. It's got some things about the natives and the totem poles and kind of their history behind it, why it is what it is. And then they've got a nature walk that you can go out and do. And you can see you walk along the coast, you see the pebble beaches, and then the totem poles. So it was fun. It gave us that first feel of Alaska, got our feet wet. I'm not gonna lie, the first totem pole made us all flash back to Proposal, and doing the dance with Sandra Bullock and Betty White around the totem pole chanting, and we all had to do it, and then it got us in the Alaska feel. So it was a fun first port for us. And then there was a little clam chowder place.
The seafood is so good.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So very, very big. If you're big into that history and the beauty of you will find that in Sitka. And some other things that people like to do. And before you do, coming on the weather, Zach, with the rain, be prepared. You're going to have foggy weather. Rain is common, and no matter what Alaskan port you go to. So keep that in mind as well. So going back to our excursions, there's Fortress of the Bear. These are offered through Royal, but again, you can find them in third-party suppliers as well. Just reach out to your straightaway travel advisor. Bears are very popular in Sitka, so if that's something you want to do, there's plenty of different excursions that involve spotting some bears. So keep that in mind. That's a Sitka thing, popular in Sitka. St. Michael's Cathedral, which we didn't get to visit, but that's another icon spot that guests like to go to. The Raptor Center, that's another one. Very, very popular. There's even some other Raptor excursions, boat rides, things like that, where you can see those, them as well. And a lot of people like the kayaking and hiking in Sitka. Like you said, it's a beautiful scenery. You're going to get some great pictures and not too strenuous hiking, right?
No,
it's pretty easy.
So,
yeah. So lots of cool
things. Good first. It's usually your first port, so it's a good fun first port. Then we head off to the capital of Alaska. We got Juneau there. It is fun because Juneau, when you get off the boat, you're kind of right there in the heart of everything. And so there's all kinds of excursions. Let's say you didn't book an excursion. I have a few clients who said, we're just going to wait and see. They've got excursion booths right there when you get off. They got the big salmon shop there. Right. And I cannot, the name of it is going to drive me nuts, but I'll get there. And then they got all the little fun shops. So that is a good time.
Loved the shops. The town is so cute. I mean, it's just really just unique. And you're shopping and you have mountains behind you. I mean, and there's there's a lot of local shops. So it's a great spot to buy your Alaskan t-shirts and all the things that you want there. It's really, and the good thing is with the itineraries that you do, we had time to do an excursion, and then we also had time to enjoy the town, which was really nice. And I do recommend eating at the Tracy's Crab Shack. If you love king crabs, there's usually a line. You go there, but that is really, really amazing king crab if you are a crab lover. And also there's a really neat saloon. My husband, and he loves grabbing a drink over at the saloon in town there. So I like to shop, so I shopped, of course, but it's just really a neat town. And a lot of a couple of popular things to do in Juneau: whale watching. Whale watching is huge in Juneau. Now, there are other things you can't do it all, but so like what Zach said before, if you can't get whale watching in Juneau, we'll talk about another port that you could do it, because some iconic things to do in Juneau are definitely, if you're into the gold mining, there's the panning and stuff, tons of that to do in Juneau. The Mendenhall Glacier is hugely popular in Juneau, and I'll share my experience, and Zach will share his. We did a canoe ride to Mendenhall Glacier and Nugget Falls, which was the first picture that we showed you in the slide, and that was great. We got to go right up to the glacier, really cool. They give you the gear, and I got to take pictures, so the rest of my family canoed and worked their arms, but it was really fun. And the iceberg behind here, that we saw on our canoe ride. Literally, a piece of the glacier fell off, and it was just on top of the lake. So So super, super, super cool. And I know you, Zach, had a different experience.
Yeah, we did something a lot less strenuous than that, and we took a helicopter ride. We let someone fly us off to our glacier. So we went to a glacier that was just beside the Mendenhall, but we saw the Mendenhall from the sky, and we landed and actually got to go out and walk around on the glacier and got out on the top. And you realize just how small. My motto in life is do the things that make you feel small. And when you get out on that glacier and you see how big it is, you feel about this big in the world. So it was a lot of fun. It was speaking of weather, we were concerned because it was a little breezy that day, especially up on top of the glacier. So they almost had to cancel all days worth of helicopters. But it turned out that it was just the mornings that got canceled. So we kind of converted our excursion. We were going to do a helicopter with a dog sled, where you land at the dog sled camp and then you fly up to the glacier. But the dog sled part we couldn't land there. So we just got to go explore the glacier, fly around the glacier, which I was completely fine with. It was fun. It was gorgeous views up there. I couldn't recommend it enough.
And speaking of the weather, Zach, and just to ease people's minds, when we went, there was so much fog, and my brother was actually booked on the helicopter, and they canceled all helicopters that day. Yeah. So it was very sad for a lot of guests, but like you said, there's tons of booths out there, so you can find something else. My brother is a big fisherman. They went and they did salmon fishing, and they had a great time. So keep that in mind, that they will cancel those helicopter rides, because there's no joke with it. You do not want to be flying on. You don't want to end up on the news. No.
I like to say with Alaska, be flexible, because there's going to be things that you might have thought that you were going to get to do that maybe got shifted. And like I said, we thought, okay, well, if we can't do it in Juneau, we'll do it the next day in Skagway or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So just run with it. You're in Alaska, you're on Alaskan time, enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. And then another thing the tramway, that's another popular thing to do in Juneau. It literally takes you right up onto the top, and that's really cool. Another fun thing that's an icon for Juneau to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Juneau, one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was a fun stop. Skagway was another fun
my favorite.
stop.
Zach, I love them all.
I know, I keep forgetting, and then I remember, oh my gosh, Skagway was next. Skagway, I can't say enough about. So when you go from Juneau, the capital, I'm going to call it a bigger city. It's a bigger city for Alaska. And then you get to Skagway, and Skagway is like every little hometown city that you ever wanted.
I love that.
You land at the port. There's the runway right on the edge of the town. We walked around the town first because our train was a little after we got there. So we did the train ride up, which is the most popular thing to do. You do the Skagway Railway, and you take it up to the top, and then you ride it back. We did a little bit different. We actually kind of split the difference. We took the railway up, and then we had a private tour come take us down. So that was cool. But he on the way down, he stopped us at a lot of the lakes. We actually went up past there and went to the Yukon Suspension Bridge, which was a lot of fun. That was gorgeous. It was a little foggy up at the top, but then it eventually burned off, which was kind of fun. But it was, once we got back down to the bottom, we found this little bar, and they had the best drinks. They made the best pina colada, and it was like,
was it the brewery? Did you go to the brewery?
We did not. We were gonna go to the brewery. It was one right across the street from the brewery, and I have to remember its name, because we did. It goes so fast that you're like, oh no. Yeah. And so it was so much fun. So those are two of the big popular things to do: the Yukon Suspension Bridge, the Skagway Railway, which, if you want to, I cannot recommend the Skagway Railway enough, because the way you get on that edge of that cliff, sometimes
it's
you're
scary.
like,
I mean, it is. And like this picture right here that we show, like, you can actually step outside. I took that picture. You can stand outside and feel the breeze, and actually really, and really, if you want to give yourself a little bit of a scary feel there, you're clickety clackety. I mean, that's an old school railway right there. So I mean, it's really fun. The town, I love Skagway. The shops, again, it kind of gives you like that, almost like that Western feel, like movie, but so cool. The town, another great spot to do some great shopping. And like Zach said, the White Pass Railway and Yukon Suspension Bridge is amazing. And we booked ours through a third party. So we did, we had a tour up. We had a great tour guide who took took us up, and we did the Yukon Suspension Bridge first, and then my family and I drove, took the train one way down. So you could do a round trip, which is about 3 hours, or you can do it one way. And there are bathrooms on the train as well.
Yes,
so it's good to know. So we got dropped off. So we did our shopping first in Skagway, and then we did our tour up to the Yukon, and then we took the train down, and it was just fantastic. Great the thing to do in Skagway for sure. And we got lucky because they said in the morning there was a lot of fog, but our views, my pictures came out really, really good.
It's kind of funny because we sound like we did the exact opposite. So and I kind of looking back, I do wish I had done that because I wish the fog had more time to burn off because
you never know, Zach.
The fun part about ours is yours looks big and pretty. Ours is very much like, that eerie pine vibe, like the smoke on the trees and that. So it kind of feels like very like pioneer-esque. So it is so much fun. It really is.
I loved it. And some other things that guests like to do, of course, is there's more gold. There's the Gold Rush, the National Historical Park. So if you're into the gold mining, all that stuff, you can do panning as well. There is a gardens, the Jewel Gardens, another one, and you can find some musher excursions as well, and also in Juneau too. So you really need to think about what you and your family like to do. Like the musher dogs, you can definitely get those experiences in Juneau, Skagway. Whale watching, you can do Juneau, not Skagway as much, but you can do it in the next one that we're going to talk about. When we go to Icy Strait, we can talk about that in the whale watching.
I remember the name. We went to the Happy Ending Saloon.
I think that's what it was. I think that's where we were. That was in Skagway.
Yes. And I can't tell you the name
somewhere. It was like kind of like off the side.
Yes.
Yeah, really.
I can't say the names of the drinks, otherwise we'll get blocked on streaming platforms. But it is a fun time.
It's a fun place to go. It was definitely just so such a great locals bar, locals pub area bar, whatever you want to call it. It was
so fun. And now, just when I thought it was we had said our favorite, now we're at my favorite port, my most favorite port out of our whole trip, because it was it was just kind of like a hidden gem that I was not expecting. But did you stopped at Ketchikan? No,
you did not. So I missed it.
Yes. Okay, Ketchikan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Ketchikan is gorgeous. It's another little city. It's kind of got a couple different hubs. Where you stop is not the heart of it, if you will. So some of the popular things to do there are a lot of totem poles there. There's totem poles everywhere, but there's a majority of them there. Misty Fjords National Monument. So they got why am I forgetting the name of it? Honoring that and looking at that, I'm losing my words. Salmon fishing is what we did, and I'm going to come back to that one because I'm not a fisher, but I loved that. The fun part is we did ours third party here as well, and they picked us up actually right beside where the Lumberjack show was. So another super popular thing is you can walk the city and then you walk up to the venue and they do the Lumberjack show. So I'm originally my heart is in Pigeon Forge, and they got that too. So if you've seen that, think that, but in the wilderness, which is fun. And then there's all kinds of viewing, and there's the old historic Ketchikan, which has like the old city, and you kind of see the 2-story buildings and the brothels and all those kind of old houses, which is super cool to feel that old history there. But salmon fishing was surprisingly my favorite thing ever. So it
tastes good. Did you eat it?
Yeah. Well, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge salmon person because sometimes I don't know. I just don't always love it sometimes because my taste of good fish is beer battered, fried, and thrown in that. Give me the
I get it. That's good stuff.
I love some beer battered fish. So I was skeptical. My wife was like all about it. Let's do it. Okay. So they pick us up on that boat. They put us in these waders, and I'm like, okay, I'm roughing it now. We get on that boat. We go out there, and I kid you not, we start dropping those hooks in the water, and we're pulling up fish left and right. There's typically 4 types of salmon: king, sockeye, one that starts with an H and I want to say silver.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, I got
yes.
Yes.
Somebody comment the one I'm missing. You guys,
there we go.
But it was funny because they were kind of in between seasons when we were there. But ironically, we dropped a hook in the water and it picked up a salmon that was passing by and pulled it up. So we got a salmon, we got a bunch of rockfish. And then if you want to see bald eagles, now I know that bald eagles are everywhere, and we were laughing because up there they call them the regal pigeons up there because they're everywhere. Like to see a bald eagle just sitting on a stoplight like it's nothing, and I was like,
That's
so.
awesome.
But
That's
you're
awesome.
going on this boat, and these eagles are dive bombing the water behind you, and they're swarming you. It was like, okay, this is. I feel like I'm in America now with the bald eagles and fishing and. The fun part was as soon as we had caught all of our fish, they took us to a little pop-up camp, I'm going to call it, and they cooked it right there. And when I tell you, I suddenly became a fan of salmon. Whatever that chef did, Michelin-starred chefs were there. Oh my gosh, I was like, okay, I'm sold. I'm a fisherman.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
That's
so,
awesome. I've heard people who've gotten that. I've had a couple clients get have their fish cooked and they've loved it.
Yes.
Loved it.
Like here in the States, we always talk about farm to table, but there, I kid you not, it was ocean to plate. I kept calling it ocean to plate. So it was so good. I cannot recommend Ketchikan enough because
awesome.
I loved it. I gotta
go back, Zach. I gotta go back.
Yes. You gotta have Ketchikan on your itinerary.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Another one, Icy Strait Point. So not all of the itineraries necessarily stop here, but it is another unique port. They have the famous zip line, which is very popular. This also is a great other option for whale watching. If you don't get to do it in Juneau, you're going to get some good whale watching here. A lot of people do the whale watching here if they want to do like Mendenhall Glacier in Juneau or something else. So definitely good. You're going to find again your wildlife, bears. There's nature trails and fishing excursions. So if you really want to test your fishing abilities out like Zach did, give it a try. This is another option where you can do that. And that's all part of the Alaskan lifestyle, fishing.
Yeah.
So
I
did not try it, but I am open to try it next time.
Yeah. We didn't get to do Icy Strait Point, but I should point out too that a lot of times you do get to see wildlife from your cruise ship. So don't think that if you don't get to do one because you've got other excursions you want to do, you'll get the opportunity to see. We saw a couple whales, but they're not guaranteed. But
and the whales that we saw, you might see a fin. It's not like going to be like you're in the heart of the whale watching. So don't count on that. But you can't, Zach said, you can see them. But if you really want to experience whale like those kind of pictures of the whales, you need to go on a whale watching tour. Mm-hmm. And it's worth the money. I know some people say, "Oh my goodness," but it's worth it. The whale watching.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of times before your cruise, so for us, before we got to Juneau was our, I'm going to call it Glacier Day, because whether you're doing, a lot of times it's Endicott Arm or Dawes Glacier, ours was the Tracy Arm Fjord. A lot of times they're on your itinerary as I'm going to call it a stop or a port, but it's just to let you know to get up early that morning. So we went to Tracy Arm Fjord. Tracy Arm Fjord. And the best part about it, and I cannot recommend enough, is if you have a balcony, order room service that day or go up to the buffet, get your food, go sit out on there and just watch your ship. Your ship pulls in through these pretty narrow points or passes, and you get to just see what's going on around you. So for us, we pulled in the strait, we got to our glacier, which is actually the glacier right behind me. And it was as the sun was coming up there. So the ship did a 180 and then it went back out the other way. So along the way, you get to see the glaciers floating by you. It felt a little bit like Titanic with those glaciers going by you. I was like, I've seen this movie before, but they're not big enough, I promise. But this was a morning to get up early, have that sun coming up, watching the strait and seeing the fun.
And you'll see it, like you said, the 180. So you'll see both sides as you do the turn. And I'm going to have to say the sad part of our cruise is that we had so much fog that our ship did not get to sail through the Dawes Glacier, and I was devastated. I was. We woke up 5 o'clock. We had all the hot chocolate things. We were ready to go, but we did. Captain didn't want to end up like Titanic, so we did not get to go through, which it was very sad. This is why I have to go back to Alaska. And it was actually the crazy thing, Zach, was that like it was for the whole month. There was 4 weeks straight that it couldn't go through because of the fog. It's just and please don't get mad at the ships. It's not the ship's fault. If that happens, the weather, they're, out for you, your protection. So we got to Juneau earlier and had more of a full day at Juneau. Itineraries can change. It is, I was very grateful. I got to see Mendenhall Glacier from the canoe. I got to, and now I'm definitely going to go back to Alaska, and I'm going to do more of a glacier itinerary where I can see more of the glaciers, because I'm envious of your
and we should point out, you went in June, right?
We actually went the end of July. We were
so you went the other direction. Okay.
So I don't know if that, I remember our canoe guide said it was like, the rainy, the rainy season or fog, but he said the fog that's a normal day. It's just normal. It happens. And then my aunt and uncle, they went like the end of August, and they were the first ship in the 4 weeks to go through because they did the same cruise as us. So it's just you can't control the weather.
I think ours told us. I think we were actually at the end of July as well. But I guess the year after you, and I think we were the
June. I think we went in June.
I went July 20. July 20.
Oh, you were after us, right. You were after us, right.
Yeah. And so they said we were like the second or third ship now that had gotten to go through. So it. Just like when a hurricane, we say plan to be flexible. You're on vacation time, enjoy it. If you're on the ship a little more, go have an iceberg latte or something like that and make up for it.
There's plenty of things you can see and do. And like, the glacier is one of your must-dos, like it was mine. Like I knew, and I'm glad I had that excursion booked in Juneau. And you could even go, there's a viewing point, so you don't have to do like a canoe ride. You can go to the viewing point, it's a tour, and you can actually still see the glacier. So at least you get, your glacier fix. Like I needed to get my glacier fix.
Absolutely. So if you're thinking about Alaska, these excursions sound like something you want to do, reach out to your straightaway travel agent immediately, because Alaska books up pretty quick. I think I was looking at a client, they wanted to add a room the other day, and their ship was almost entirely booked out. So look at it early, add it to your list. The excursions do book up pretty quick. So you need to know that if you're going in the summer, typically their season, they open it just after New Year's, and these excursions go quickly. And so if this is something you're thinking about, reach out to your straightaway travel agent now, and let's get that ball rolling. We're here to help you out. Of course, Mindy and I always love planning things Royal Caribbean excursion related, taking you to these fun places. So reach out to your straightaway travel right now. Get Alaska on that bucket list. If it's already on there, get it planned out. It is an incredible frontier.
Yes, and if you've gone, comment below. We'd love to hear one of your favorite excursions that you did. Comment, share, because there's a lot of guests who have not gone yet and who are planning on going. So any extra feedback on your experiences would be great. We love to hear it.
Send us those pictures. Send us your favorite experiences. Tell us what you love. We love to interact with you guys. So we're here. Mindy, that's an Alaskan frontier chat now.
That's it. It's almost time, my friend.
I love it. Until next time.
Bye.
Bon voyage.